miss. I call the shots, I never call it quits. Trust my intuition, bet it's right and bitch, it often is. Seen too many others come and go, they had the wrong intent. Do it out of love and never for it, then I watch it get bigger than expected. Don't second guess it, I let it set it. It's God's plan, we out here only accepting blessings. I'm stuck with it, this mindset is terminal. In and out different terminals, leveling up is personal. And I already made it, y'all can miss me. It's hard to believe I made something from nothing. No hindsight discussions, I've been writing, I love it.
Welcome to the 3 Gig Sports Podcast, where we are never wrong, just sometimes misinformed. This is Danny G, sitting alongside my guys Rio and Jimmer tonight. And let's go ahead and kick her off, baby. Rio, who we got?
Yeah, tonight we got Matthew Vitale on. Matthew, how's it going?
Going great. How are you guys doing?
We're doing good, my friend. Doing very good. We appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you guys for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, to kind of kick this thing off, let's talk a little bit about when you started playing sports as a young kid. When did that kind of take off for you?
I honestly don't remember I've been playing sports my whole life, so I don't remember the first day I got into organized sports or anything. But I can remember. I was 4 years old and I started playing flag football in Southwest Philadelphia. And then we moved over to Jersey, and then I was playing 3 sports. I would play, 4 sports really. I'd play basketball, football, baseball, and I would do swimming. Okay. So I was always staying busy. There was never a season where I wasn't in a sport. So I've been a lifelong athlete.
Okay, damn. Philadelphia, that's too bad. I'm a Viking fan, so we have a lot of hard feelings against you Eagles.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So was there any point in time that you kind of started gravitating toward ultimately your football career, or did you kind of stay up through high school, middle school and high school, sticking to that multiple sport kind of theme there?
I think football was always my favorite sport. I never really had a time where it wasn't my favorite sport. Even when I was in baseball season or basketball season, I was always kind of preparing myself for football behind the scenes. And I would play those sports kind of to help me in football, really. I would use them to prepare me. So, but I didn't get really specifically focused on football until my junior year of high school. I used to go to a small public school in New Jersey, and I ended up transferring to a bigger group for football, and that's when I really started just focusing myself on football. It was my junior year of high school.
Okay, yeah, you did really well. I saw a bunch of your stats there, over 4,000 yards, and lighting it up for sure. How did your high school career go, as in terms of team-wise? And then obviously, I talked a little bit about those stats. How did that kind of play out for you?
It was actually kind of crazy at first. I think I was 5'3", maybe just 100 pounds when I was a freshman. So
whoa,
so I was really undersized, really small, and I was the backup at my school. I would play a little bit, but my size was always something that they weren't ready to throw me out on the field just yet. And we had a really good senior quarterback. So then that senior class left, and I took the starting job my sophomore year, and we went 3-7. We're a really bad football team. It wasn't really much of a football school at the time, and we struggled a lot. We changed the offense 4 times throughout the year.
Whoa! In 1 year?
Yeah, in one season we changed the offense.
Hold on, player. This isn't working out very well right here. We're gonna try this right here.
I was just kidding. We're not a running team. I'm just kidding. We're not a passing team.
Okay.
We went from running spread that was back when Oregon was kind of taking off. That was 2014. That was the Oregon Auburn spread offense type of deal. So we started off doing that. We realized we don't have the personnel for that, and then we kind of got into a pro style offense. That wasn't the answer for us. We didn't have the line to be a power running team. And then we tried to go into a multiple offense using both things, both styles, and we kind of had a little bit more success. And then by the end of the year, we ended up going to some makeshift, not even real. It was like a wishbone offense out of shotgun. I feel like that.
Man. That's awesome. But I
As
mean,
you can imagine, I was really frustrated. I was really frustrated. So I was like, I need to get out of this school because I know how I saw the game of football and what I wanted to do with my career, and that school wasn't really aligning with my beliefs and the way I saw myself and my career, the way I wanted it to go. So
you didn't want to live life on the edge, changing offenses every other play.
no, I couldn't do it. The mentality was different, but but you know, I have a lot of friends that goes with the kids I grew up with, and they were really upset with me when I left. But you know, they're baseball players, that basketball, like they did other stuff. So.
Right. I'm like, hold on. Then come out there and play on the football field there, and you'll see like how this is rolling, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think they now I know for a fact they can all understand. Back then, I think it was a tough pill for everybody to swallow. But
Oh, absolutely. So how far away did you move when you left there for junior year?
it was a Catholic school, like 10 minutes down the road. It was still close to me, so it was no problem. It wasn't too bad, and I knew a lot of those kids from 8th grade spring football. I played with a lot of them, which made me want to go there.
Sure. So, you know, you light it up. Looks like your junior and senior year, and y'all do pretty well. Can you talk about the recruiting process? I'm sure it picked up for you and what that, you know, brought to your life there.
Like when it first started and who was kind of hitting.
No, the recruiting process was brutal. It was brutal all the way up through junior college, even into the transfer portal. It's something I never want to relive again. I did not enjoy the recruiting process.
Okay.
Like I said, I was really undersized. I was really small, skinny. Like my junior year, I was like 5'7", like 120. So I got my sophomore year, I was 5'7", 120. So, and I was at that small school, didn't have anything coming out of there. And then going into my junior year, I was about 5'8.5", probably 130 playing my junior year, maybe a little bit bigger. And I was actually growing throughout the season. So after your junior year, that's like the big year where you get recruited. I wasn't hearing from anyone. I was going to camps. I was doing all this type of stuff, but I was still producing on the field. So I was like, if I'm playing good on the field and I'm playing better than these big guys, why can I not get recruited? I've been my size my whole life. It doesn't really faze me, but
Right.
it's a business and I understand that. So going into my senior year, I had no offers, really no true interest. And then I was still kind of just playing, and I was kind of letting it get to my head a little bit. And I was frustrated going into my senior year because I felt like I deserved something. Like the Elite 11 camp, I wasn't invited to the Elite 11 camp. And there were kids that were backups at other schools that were bigger than me that got invited to the Elite 11 camp. So I snuck into that camp because I was frustrated. So I got myself in there regardless. So stuff like that was what bothered me.
Hey,
And
respect.
then,
Hell
right?
yes.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah,
I'm going. No,
so-
be like, fuck you. I wasn't allowed to go to prom or whatever the scenario is. I still went in the back door, damn it. I still partook.
Exactly.
I got you.
And like kids on my team were invited, so I just rode up with them. I got like a little fake paper and told them that I just forgot to sign up online. So they're like, okay.
Hell
Gave me a
yeah.
shirt.
I like it.
Yeah.
Nobody knew the difference. It's whatever.
Yeah.
And then my senior year, after the season, Rutgers, my in-state school, Rutgers got a new coaching staff from Ohio State, and they got hired in December. And I messaged them while they were still at Ohio State. They're actually preparing for the national championship, and I sent them an email, and they told me like they really liked my film. This is while they were still at Ohio State, that they really liked my film, and they had a spot for me on the team, like as like a walk-on. So I was like thrilled. I was like, okay, perfect. All I need to do is get my foot in the door. I'll be a walk-on at Rutgers. So I'm committed to Rutgers as a walk-on basically from January, February, March, and then like I'm doing everything. I'm getting my housing set up. I'm in group with all the kids on the team. I'm making friends with everybody. I was actually going up to like the spring practices, and when I was at the spring practices, they didn't really talk to me, and I was like, this seems really fishy. Like I don't know how to feel about this. And they hired a new quarterback coach, and the quarterback coach did not even look at me. He didn't even want any parts to do with me. So I tried to talk to him, told him I was here. Like I was literally learning their offense. Like I've always tried to keep myself one step ahead. Because I was undersized my whole life, I had to do everything better than the big guys, which was learning my offense better, being a better leader, being more efficient, being more accurate with my location, all that type of stuff. And then that's why I was trying to learn the offense and be up there as much as I could. Like I spent my whole entire spring break from school at Rutgers. My one friend played soccer up there, and I was just living with him like a week and a half, just going to the spring practices every day. So at the end of the day, Rutgers backed out. They told me they didn't have a spot for me anymore. And I found out in school, they actually told my mom in June, in May. It was May. It was like the end of May of my senior year of high school. And I was like, well, wow, what am I supposed to do now? So the only other school that had reached out to me at the time was West Virginia. It was literally Rutgers and West Virginia. And West Virginia also gave me a preferred walk-on spot. And I was like, well, I lied to West Virginia. I didn't tell West Virginia that Rutgers didn't want me anymore. I just told them that I chose West Virginia instead of Rutgers. And then I went to West Virginia in like the end of camp. I think I got there like August 18th to West Virginia. So that was where I spent my freshman year, and I redshirted.
Okay, how was that experience? Learning. Who was a quarterback there at the time? The starting quarterback.
The quarterback was Skylar Howard, and Will Greer was there too. He was serving a suspension from Florida, so he transferred in that year.
Yeah, gotcha.
Okay.
Man, let me just get on my soapbox for a minute, all right? So the NFL is making a huge adjustment, and you're seeing a lot more like, we'll just say shorter, more athletic type quarterbacks that are actually becoming stars, that are great quarterbacks.
Like where they're not holding it against them.
Right. Drew Brees, you think of Kyler Murray, you think of, guys like that, Russell Wilson, right? It drives me nuts that that's not going downhill and they're doing the same thing at the younger ages, because talent is talent, at the end of the day.
Exactly.
And you ultimately have to work harder than those prototypical guys who don't have to, read things different and have the ability to just look over the offensive line. So, God, man, that drives me nuts. That's too bad. But it sounds like it really made you get creative and kind of figure out a different way to get your foot in the door, right?
Oh, exactly. I think it was an advantage for me, to be honest. It gave me I always had a chip on my shoulder, but it really like lit a fire under me because I knew how I could play. I knew if you step on the field with me, you can feel. I know the defense. They know something's different. They know I'm not a prototypical quarterback, and they have to try and prepare for me differently. So I have a totally different way of attacking the defense, of seeing things, of escaping the pocket, of finding soft spots in the pockets, of off-platform throws, arm angles, all that type of stuff. So I'm always one step ahead. So I think it's actually been an extreme advantage for me.
Yeah,
honestly,
you definitely shown. I mean, obviously, you threw for lots of yardage coming out of high school. I believe it said you had some rushing touchdowns, 9 rushing touchdowns. So, yeah, definitely keeping the defense on their heels and what to expect as well is definitely part of your game.
For sure.
So, my man, I'm going to be honest with you. Like, for this, how long we've been recording now?
12 minutes.
12 minutes. This 12 minutes, I've been watching your highlight reel here on YouTube. And I guess first thing I'm noticing, I don't know about, and I'm going to be honest, I don't know about the arm strength part of this part, so I don't know that. But I do see a lot of Kyler Murray-esque up in here. And you have some of the best touch that I have seen. Like accuracy and touch.
Appreciate that.
I'm not kidding. I understand it's a highlight reel. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
But everything is like in stride. And
yeah,
it
the
is
feel
like,
of the play and putting it right on the money.
Right, and the timing of it. And it looks like you have more. And then you know how to work with getting behind and moving around your offensive line and finding and then hitting them in a timely manner too. So, God, somebody like that and is also going into it pissed off too that he's not getting his shot. I'm like, dude, I can't help my hype, but what I can do is I can slay a motherfucker on the field, right?
Right.
Exactly.
Okay, I just want to make sure I get the same mindset because
you're right.
I'm getting a little warm. I'm getting a little warm for you, just like Danny G was doing right there. I'm like, I'm sitting here watching. I'm like, what the hell is going on right now?
Yeah, there's stats, there's highlights, really surprising that teams shy away from that. So West Virginia, you come in, you redshirt, and then what happens?
So they had no plans for me to develop me. I was basically just an extra body on the field. They had me playing like scout team wide receiver. I wasn't even in quarterback meetings, and that was kind of the way they treated every walk-on the team at the time. It was kind of just like you're there as an extra body. They're not really focusing on you to give you a scholarship, to develop you or anything like that. That was just the way that they ran their program. It's not like that at every single place, but for West Virginia specifically that year, that's how it was. And I knew that I couldn't stay there because I knew I was going to have to take out loans because I was a walk-on, and they weren't going to have any shot of giving me a scholarship. And that's ultimately what you want as a walk-on. So
yeah.
Skylar Howard, who was the quarterback at the time, I had a really good relationship with him, and he was really the first one to tell me about California junior colleges. I've always heard about kids going to junior college, but I didn't understand the dynamic of it, or I always looked at it as a really bad thing or something that I never wanted to see myself being a part of. And he went to Riverside Junior College in California. Okay. And he was always like, Matt, like, if you ever leave, I really recommend going to a junior college in California specifically because of the style of play. They're not afraid to throw the ball. It's really competitive, and you can get recruited out of there. And he was an undersized quarterback. He was like 5'10", 5'11". He was just like pretty husky. Like, he was a strong dude, but he was also a lot older than me at the time. So I saw it worked out for him. I mean, he led a 10-win team in the Big 12. So yeah, I knew there was something to it. So that was really what happened. So my next step was I transferred home. I went to a county college and worked and back in Jersey for like that winter. And then that whole time I was sending out emails to all of the junior colleges in California that were in the top 25 passing statistically from the year before, because I wanted to go to a place where I could just sling it. Yeah. And then I ended up getting a really good response back from Diablo Valley College, which is in Pleasant Hill, California. Shout out to Coach Dar. He got me out there. And I went out there in June, competed with like 7 other quarterbacks, and I won the starting spot.
Hell yeah.
And then I started every single game my redshirt freshman year. So that was a really, really fun time. It kind of built my confidence in a different way where I could just feel free, feel loose. They gave me a lot of say with the offense. I kind of just played backyard football in a way too. So it was really fun. It was right. I'm really happy that I ended up going there.
So I got a quite a few to run with right here.
Yeah.
Number one,
there's a lot.
Yeah. No, I know we dig it a lot.
Yeah.
So we've talked to quite a few players that have went out there too. Moises Haynes, and he was at College of the Canyons.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, it's a really good program.
Yeah, really good program too. But and so we've heard that too. He's like, it's not quite like that. Like, JUCO is an awesome deal. Sometimes people just need to go that route to get that tape out there, to show the college version. But some of those ones, especially in California, are like so much higher than just even the average JUCOs around the nation. So, but I'm watching as we're talking, I'm listening. I'm also watching another one. I see that you have it does seem like you have a lot of respect for Coach Dar here, because you actually is on your video to contact him also.
Oh yeah, for sure. So at DVC, they call him the campus miracle worker, because when you're at a junior college, you don't really have all of the resources that you'd have at a 4-year school. So he does a lot. He wears a lot of different hats. He was just a really genuine guy. He never went back on his word. He gave me a fair opportunity, a fair chance, and he believed in me. So that's all you can ask for in a coach. And he's helped so many kids. Like, that place gets so many kids scholarships. Like when I got there at the time, there was over 250 in the past 8 years.
Damn,
just scholarships,
wow.
Whether it was Division I or Division II. So he really understands what it means to go to junior college. He takes his role seriously. And he's a very family-oriented guy, and he could have went to a bigger school to coach at, but he just chose to stay in the junior college route, and because he was passionate about it. And when you're around someone who's passionate and they believe in what they're doing, they're going to make an impact on you regardless.
Hell yeah.
So,
100%, man.
Hell yeah.
So it was dope. And the staff was the same way. Like, he surrounded himself with a lot of good coaches, and it was just like, it changed my whole perspective on junior college. It really did.
All right, let's kick it to my other part, and that is we got to, like, how do I put that? I'm a little obsessed with, like, not liking them. But let's kick it back to Philly a little bit.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
Okay. A couple things. We're going to knock a few out right here. Do you like cheesecake? Or whatever, Philly cheesesteak? Cheesesteak, yeah.
All right, so I don't eat red meat, but
what?
I don't eat red meat.
Well, do you do like a chicken cheesesteak?
Yeah, I like a chicken cheesesteak.
Okay.
But there was a time in my life where I did eat red meat, and I did enjoy cheesesteak.
Okay. Okay. Where's the best place to get one in Philly? Maybe even that you've heard of, like maybe you didn't try it, but like.
I prefer gyms on South Street because they chop up the meat. The other places, like the touristy places, they kind of just throw a slab on there, and if you bite into it, it pulls out all the steak.
Right. Yeah,
so I like gyms. Gyms are Phillips.
Okay, hell yeah, that's exactly what I want to hear. Just in case I ever do decide to go there and
just stay in the touristy areas.
Okay. Well, that's also a little scary too, ain't it? Same way. Philly. All right. Tell me.
Just hit me up. Maybe we can go.
All right. And then tell me you watch the Rocky movies, right?
Oh, of course.
Okay. What's your favorite one?
The original. I like the original just because it set the tone.
Okay.
None of the other movies would have been possible without it. I just love the original.
So this may sound corny as shit, but is it true that the city kind of takes on like that mentality? I mean, I'm not talking about Rocky, but like the mentality, like just chipping, hardworking, like everything's a grind, but
it's definitely true. The movie did a really good job of representing the city. I think it's just how it's in the DNA. It's how the city was created. It's how the city was made, and it's just in the DNA of the people. Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's just a different type of feel when you're in Philly than anywhere else I've ever been in the entire world. So, and that includes New Jersey too, like the South Jersey area, like right outside of Philly. It's all very similar because right across from Philly, you have Camden, New Jersey, which is also a really tough place. I think the best way I can describe it is if you can make it in Philadelphia, like you can make it anywhere you go. Basically, you'll be prepared for any situation that can possibly happen. That's the way I look at it. And when I relate it to sports and the football, it's like if you're a Philly kid or you're a Jersey kid, not everybody everywhere else in the country can come to New Jersey and play, or Philly and play our style of football. But we can go anywhere and play our style of football. That's the way I look at it. Or that's just sports in general.
Okay. No, I get that. Yours can translate anywhere, but not anyone can just walk up in there and play your style. I got you.
Exactly.
Yeah, I do have a question.
And a lot of people, it's a lot of trash talk. You got to be mentally tough.
Yeah.
There's a lot of chippiness, a lot of fighting, scrapping.
Yes.
And if you're not tough, people are just going to
make you tough.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're not going to have a choice, right?
You sink or swim.
There you go. Absolutely.
So growing up in that Philly, New Jersey area and being kind of a smaller guy, did you ever get pushed towards wrestling at all? Wrestling was kind of getting big in that area around that time.
No, I didn't like wrestling. I didn't like not being able to punch. So I gravitated more, like I like the stand-up game, like more of like keep my distance a little bit. Like I didn't like all that wrestling, like wearing the singlets. Like it just
you don't like getting manhandled.
I didn't like the sweating.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm not taking that as I'm like, you don't like to be like the dude on dude, like up in like no personal space. I could tell just by your running style of this highlight reel, like you're trying to stay away from all the big guys.
Yes, like I like to fight clean, basically. So I really gravitated towards boxing and towards Muay Thai. So we have good boxing and Muay Thai gyms around there too.
Okay.
And then it's not even that I don't like the the manhandle, like the wrestling part. I just don't like the style of it. Like I'd rather do jiu-jitsu. If I was getting down on the ground, I'd rather be able to fight from my back. Basically, like when you're wrestling and you're on your back to fight over. Well, realistically, it's really not. Like I just didn't like how it translated to like real fighting. It didn't feel like real combat to me.
That's what Rio used to do too. You did a lot of that jiu-jitsu too,
jiu-jitsu,
right?
Yep. So
yeah, jiu-jitsu. I enjoyed that. But yeah, I was big on boxing and Muay Thai though, for sure.
Yeah.
I would actually train that whenever I go back home. That's what I train.
Nice.
Okay.
Because it's like rotational. Like punching is very rotational. I'm a rotational athlete, so it helps me.
All right, so we went over basically up to going through the opportunity at Diablo Valley, right?
Yeah.
And the awesome opportunity that was not just presented, but you were given, like you said, a fair shake to earn the job and take it over and manhandle it, right? and then you're coming back through, right? And this is the gap that we were talking about? We wanted him to fill in.
Actually. So I believe you go to Temple next, right?
Yeah. So
okay.
What? So, what
Hold on.
happened is-
There's a weird chuckle here.
There
What's
is a
up?
weird it
What's
sounds
up?
like you have a story.
Oh, I got a story.
We
I
like
got a
stories.
story.
We like stories.
All right. So after junior college in California, I have to get my associate's degree because I'll be a 4.24 transfer. So I have to get my associate's degree to be eligible to go back to Division I football. I didn't want to play Division II football. I didn't want to play Division III football. I didn't want to play NAIA. I wanted to play Division I football because I know I can.
Yep.
So I'm taking time off to get my associate's degree. I was going to go to a different junior college. I actually went to Independence for like a week because they're scholarship junior colleges and they have dorms. In California, it's not a scholarship junior college and there's no dorms. So it's hard living out there. Like I had a 3-bedroom apartment with 9 international students. So I shared a room with 3 kids and it was like 1 bathroom. So it was dirty, it was gross, and I had to walk everywhere. Like I was walking like miles a day just to get to practice because I didn't have transportation.
Damn.
So anyway, that's why I didn't want to go back to junior college in California. It was really difficult. So then I started looking at Independence and some other NJCAA schools that offered scholarships. I got there in June. I was going to go. Like I was all in. And it was actually the season they were filming Last Chance U on Netflix. And there was 255 kids there on the football team when I got there. It was
Holy cow.
that was literally the number. It was 255. Like that was the number. And there was kids that were coming in. I think they got in trouble for like scamming people too. So I don't know. So there was so much crap going on there. I was there
255? Yeah, maybe.
I was there for a week and I left. And then I was gonna go to another junior college. I was in a really bad mental space because I started not feeling good. I was just like I just needed a break. And I was going through a lot of stuff, honestly, just mentally. Like I don't know what it was. I was just getting overwhelmed. I think at that time in my life, football was like my identity. Also, so like if football wasn't going good or then I wasn't doing good, and it was like I had a bad I was overly invested in it, and it was just like I was getting really, really overwhelmed, really exhausted, and I kind of had to figure out a new way of processing information and moving on with life because I always believed that I should have been getting these offers, and I felt like everyone was against me. I was getting frustrated, like it was hard, like so I just went home and I worked. And I went to junior college at Camden County Junior College, and I worked until the summer of 2019. And Temple was literally the only school that gave me an opportunity, and that is all credit to Coach D. Michael. Coach D. Michael he's like my big bro. Like I've known him since I think I was in 8th grade, and he was at Temple. He played quarterback at Temple. He played quarterback for the Eagles for like 1 year in the preseason, and then he played in the Arena League, and he played up in Canada for a little bit, like a short stint. So he was around. He understood like my journey. Like I was a journeyman, kind of like how he was, and he got me on the team. He was the only coach in the entire country that gave me an opportunity to play football again, literally.
You know, you talk about the mental aspect of it, and you know, at that time you're relatively still a young kid, and I mean, you traveled across the country to go to a junior college, and it sounds like it definitely wasn't easy. So, I mean, props and kudos to just grinding through all that in itself. You know, I know you don't need anybody to pick yourself up because you've got yourself very far along in this whole process. But just that shows how much you're grinding and just the plan you had and how, the dog in you, I guess, is what I'm trying to say that I see. And that's badass, man.
Appreciate you.
The start from the bottom, always feeling like you got to prove it, and what you've gone through, the mental capacity to have to do that anyway at a young age, and then there's damn dude, like I'm gaining more and more respect. Like it isn't like I already didn't before we started, my man, but it's a pretty damn high where I'm at right now. I'm like Jesus,
I appreciate you.
So to touch on a little bit of what I was at, like I said, I'm still constantly watching. This is a thing of beauty. Another thing I want to tell you, you kind of look a little more like your accuracy and your throwing reminds me of Case Keenum, actually.
Okay. Oh, I love that.
Just the throwing and stuff like that. And actually, I'm not talking about pro Case Keenum either. I'm talking about like
Houston Cougars.
Houston Cougars, Case Keenum, record-setting
air raid system.
Yeah, absolutely. So So how did we get to the part where how was Temple? Like, how did it finish off before you got to your next phase?
All right, so at Temple, like I was saying, I came in because of Coach C. Michael. I came in the middle of camp, really just as a camp arm. But for me, Temple was like a dream school for me. Now, most people would be like, how is Temple a dream school for you? It's in North Philadelphia, like literally in the hood. But for me, it was home. Like I was representing my home city.
Yeah.
My family could come to all my games. And I always wanted to play for Temple, like realistically. I always wanted to. So it was just a blessing for me to be on the team at the time. Like that's how I was extremely ecstatic about it. I was so happy, so thankful, because I never thought I'd even have the opportunity to play football again. There were some days where I was like, I don't think I'm gonna have to move on with my life. I don't know what I'm gonna do. And got to Temple, was like the 5th string quarterback when I got there, and then I just kept balling out really on scout team. We had a really good defense at the time, so they made me a lot better. Like I think 8 of those 11 starters ended up in the NFL.
Yeah.
From that 20
Was that Hassan Reddick about that time?
So funny story about Hassan. Hassan wasn't there at the time. He was already in the NFL.
Okay.
But Hassan went to my high school. Hassan went to my first high school.
Okay.
That's my guy.
Oh, he did. Okay.
He went to Haddon Heights High School. That was the small school I told you about. That wasn't the football school. Hassan, crazy story. Hassan played 49 snaps in high school because he had 2 season-ending injuries, which is crazy.
Wow.
49 snaps. So he walked on at Temple as well.
I did
he's
not.
someone I always looked up to. So,
I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's awesome too.
So Hassan's my guy.
So, but you had the I am drawing a small blank, but I do remember there are an assload of defensive players that came from Temple right about the time that you're talking about. I know
they went through that stretch basically when he went through. They had a really tough defense.
Yeah.
That was like the Matt Rule era.
Yeah.
That was like the post, like Matt Rule left. I think he was at Baylor at the time, or he might have even been with the Panthers. I don't really remember. But all of those kids that were on that defense were like juniors and seniors who he recruited, basically. So we had Sean Bradley, who's on the Eagles now. IGM, Isaiah Graham Mobley, he's on the Panthers now. Sam Franklin, he's on the Panthers now with Matt Rule. Quincy Roche, he's on the Giants right now. Harrison Hand, he's on the Vikings right now.
You know that. I do know that, man.
Yeah, Harrison. He's a Jersey guy too. Who else was there? Did I say Dan Archibald?
No,
Dan Archibald. He's on the Steelers right now. I know I'm forgetting some people.
Oh, wasn't there an edge rusher or outside linebacker that also went to the Panthers?
I think that was Sam. That was Sam Franklin. I know I'm forgetting.
I think he got like 11 or 12 sacks last year. He had kind of a breakout. Like
that wasn't a Shaq.
No, not Shaq. Oh, I'm looking it up now. This is gonna drive me nuts. But go ahead.
So we had a lot of guys in that defense. There was more I'm not even thinking about. Chappelle. We had Chappelle Russell, he's another linebacker. He was on the. So we had 4 linebackers going in the NFL basically. He's on the Jaguars right now. Who else was on that team? There's some other guys.
Yeah. Crazy good defense there.
Yeah, they do.
2 other guys.
So you were building yourself up. You started 5. Where were you going?
Yeah, so then I ended up just balling out against them in practice, and then I was getting like no real active reps at all. And then I had one with running the offense, and then we had a bye week. And then during our bye week was my first time. It was like 5 or 6 weeks into the season, and I had my first time really running the offense. I had 2 drives, and I threw 2 long bombs for touchdowns on my 2 drives. And I basically showed them that I can play in the system, that I know the offense, that I can play at this level. That was kind of my job interview. If I didn't throw touchdowns on those drives, who knows if I would have had respect? Who knows if I would have made the travel team the next week? Who knows? It's just you just have to take advantage of your opportunity when they come. But to me, I was ready. I knew I was ready. I could play. That's what I do. So it wasn't really anything different to me, but to them, they never saw it before, so they made a really big deal about it. They thought it was oh my God, what just happened, type of stuff like that. But to me, it's just what I've been doing my whole life. So I ended up getting on the travel team, finish out the great. It was great. It was everything I ever dreamed of, really. Obviously, other than playing, I didn't get on any active time that year. And then going into spring of 2020 is where it gets crazy. So I'm actually competing for the number 2 spot now at Temple. Our starting quarterback, Anthony Russo, He was like, it was about to be his third year starting, and he ended up actually transferring to Michigan State. But that's another story. I was competing for the number 2 spot. I had one practice, and the day of my first practice, my stomach wasn't feeling too good. And I was sitting in my bed, and I was crunched over, and classes just got moved to online because of COVID. And I was like, why is my stomach not feeling good? I must have ate something bad. So I'm trying to go to the bathroom. Can't really go to the bathroom. I get up. I go lay down for like an hour. And I noticed I literally can't lay straight. Like, I can't lay straight. Like, I couldn't lay on my bed anymore. I had to crunch up in the ball. Yeah. So I was like, this is really weird. So I called my dad, because I wasn't going to call my mom, because my mom would have had a heart attack at the time.
Right.
And I called my dad, and I said, Dad, I'm going to just go to the Temple University Hospital just to get looked at. I don't know what happened. I really have no idea what's going on. And he's like, okay, like, we're not thinking of anything of it. So I go over there around like 7 o'clock at night, and I call an Uber. And I literally could hardly walk to the Uber. But my mindset is, I have my second spring practice tomorrow morning. I just completed 77% of my passes today, and I threw 2 touchdowns. I need to get back tomorrow to go keep moving up this depth chart. I'm not thinking anything of it. Like, in my wildest dreams, none of this stuff that I'm about to tell you was even possible. I was healthy. I was playing Division I football. I was pushing the pace at practice. I was doing really good stuff.
Yeah.
So I go to the ER. They're running tests on me. They give me like the pain medicine, all this type of stuff. They take me back into a room at like 12 o'clock. They run tests on me. They do all this type of stuff. And all of a sudden, the head trauma doctor of Temple University Hospital walks in with like 4 other doctors and like a giant medical team. And the 2 nurses that were taking care of me started crying. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, what is like,
right.
What the hell?
Like, what the fuck? Like, I see them crying. Like, they're 2 young girls. Like, so they start crying. And I'm looking at them, and I see shit's getting serious. Like, the whole mood, it was like a cloud just came over the room. Like, the mood just, the air, like the life got sucked out of the air, like quick. And basically, they explained to me. They say, all right, so what's happening is you have a hole in your intestine. You've gone septic, and you have 20 minutes to get an emergency surgery. So you're gonna have to go into surgery right now.
Holy
and I'm sitting there. This is March 10th of 2020, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, okay. Like, I'm looking, I'm like, okay, now I gotta get my mind right. So I'm preparing to go into a different type of battle, not a football battle. But I was ready for it mentally because of how I trained in football and all this type of stuff. So I'm like, you know what? I'll be good. Like, it was like almost like ignorance is bliss at the moment. Like, I think I was on some pain medicine too, so I wasn't really like understanding the situation. I'm literally treating this like I have a game right now. I'm like, oh, I got a game in 20 minutes. I'm ready to go. That's literally my young mind. That's what I was thinking. But it was life or death. And the head trauma surgeon was just standing there looking at me for 3 minutes, and then he explained to me what was going to happen in the surgery. And they removed about 10 inches of my intestine and maybe a little bit more of my intestine and some of my colon, and they had to stitch me back up together, basically. Long story short, I went through 9 procedures in the hospital. Wow. I was in the hospital for about 53 days, and then I was in a hospital bed in my house for an additional 70 days.
What?
I had drains in my stomach, or one drain in my stomach, one drain in my back, like right above my butt, basically. And that was all because I had an infection from being septic from the hole in my intestine. And it was a crazy time, and I had to do a lot of recovery. I had internal bleeding at the time. I had crazy pain medicine withdrawals, and it was just a really crazy time. I was in the hospital by myself because COVID wasn't happening. So I went through a lot of stuff mentally. It was a battle every day, but I had a lot of support from my coaches and my friends and my teammate at Temple. I was still talking to them every day, and it was just a crazy time. So that's what happened to me at Temple. That was basically the end of my football career at Temple.
Jesus Christ!
It's almost like shitting on a guy when he's down,
right?
Yeah,
and then he's starting to make the comeback up, and then just a kick.
Yeah, it's just feeling good, and then damn, man.
So it was a really hard time for my family too. We went through some crazy stuff during that time, but everybody did. It was COVID.
It's like, with something like that, and then obviously they can't come see you with COVID and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think after that whole time in my life, it changed me a little bit in terms of like it was surreal. It was like, what is that? Like I had such a, like, when you're going through a traumatic experience, you don't understand that it's a traumatic experience until after it's over. So it was like I dealt with that whole thing, and then there was an aftershock. Like there was a whole wave of stuff that I had to deal with just after after I was healed from it. And it took like months and months for me to finally be healed. And I think another thing that really helped me is that Temple football, as much as I had a falling out with Temple football, but ultimately they were there to support me during a really tough time in my life, my family's life, because my dad also had a stroke in that July. So they were really supportive of me and my family, and they traveled me. I was basically the assistant quarterback coach that year. They didn't clear me to play football because of what happened, but it was just a crazy time. But it's prepared me in so many different ways, and I'm still kind of unraveling everything, unpacking everything, and learning, and just kind of living in the moment and moving forward from it. But it was a crazy time. Dude,
you have literally every excuse in the book to hang it up in life. Like to tap out the whole works. And I'm not saying that lightly. I'm not trying to say that like in a joke. I'm like, holy shit. And because it's like, and my dad had a stroke too. I'm like, oh my God, dude. We're like looking at each other like, like anything. Good God.
One thing.
I'm not. I promise you. At least for another week, I will not bitch about how busy I am and how crazy my kids are and shit like that.
Lie.
Again,
well, you know, it's crazy.
At least 24
I
hours.
don't even like when I say it. It sounds like such like a sad sob story. Like I really don't look for like what's the word? Pity. Yeah, I don't. It's not. I don't want it to be like a sob story.
Yeah.
But I've realized like, there is a time where I was so uncomfortable talking about any of it, and I always want to make it clear that the reason I feel like I'm required to talk about it. I feel like I'm called to talk about it. I have to talk about it because one thing in life that's universal is suffering. Like everybody in their life will go through something. Yeah. It's unavoidable. Life will come at you in a way that you don't expect it, and it might not be to the magnitude of. Or in the time frame of all this stuff that happened like me, but it happens and there's no avoiding it. So if I can talk about it and people can understand it and maybe draw some inspiration or relate or I can help somebody in a way, that means I didn't go through all that for nothing. So that's why I feel like I have the power to talk about it. I have to talk about it, and I have to be comfortable talking about it because it's something that happened. It's real. It's valid, and I'm doing better now than I was before.
Hell yeah.
So I think there's power in that, and people can find inspiration in that and help them in their own life. So I feel like I'm literally required to speak on it, and not because I want pity, but because people everywhere need help. Like,
I think you put this like, so you're saying that, and what I'm saying is, the way you've been telling this the whole time, I'm not taking it in any way, shape, or form that you're seeking pity. It seems like you just keep rolling with the punches and keep going. Exactly. So not one point did I think that. I'm like, good God, this dude just takes another blow,
right?
Another one.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's
so I'm not even taking it. I don't know about you guys, but I'm not taking it as anything like that.
It's you know, obviously we know he's at Jackson State, right? So it's that dog factor. Him keeping clawing and keeping moving, and
exactly.
And battling, and you know, crazy story, and to make it through that is awesome. One thing you don't have to talk about is the Temple situation, but you can if you'd like to. What happened kind of there? Did they move on quarterback wise, or you know, you don't have to touch on it if you don't want to, but you know, you said you had a falling out there.
Yeah, so basically what happened was I was cleared to play again. I was 100% clear to play again. That whole time, I was being like a student coach, basically. I was working out with the team. I just wasn't cleared for activities, like physical contact, like being on the field. Like the Temple doctor didn't want me doing that.
Right.
Even though for me, you know, I'm trying to play in the last game of the season against the number 5 ranked Cincinnati team. That was my whole goal. That was literally my goal. My goal was to get back for the last game of the season because we had 1 win and we went through 7 quarterbacks on our roster and we played terrible football. And I wanted to play because I was like, well, this is my opportunity to show that I'm the best quarterback on this roster. That was my mentality. That didn't happen. So I was frustrated. It might have been irrational, but I was frustrated. I knew I could play at the time. I got my body back by the end of November. So then going into spring ball 2021, you know, I mean, I don't know what else they need to see for me to understand my character, to understand my commitment to the program, to understand that I was the only quarterback that was still on the team since 2019. Like every single starter on our team basically transferred because we had 1 win. You know what I mean? Like like our whole team left. It was we stunk. We were terrible. Our whole culture was twisted backwards, upside down, chewed up and spit out. It was an ugly place to be at like going to that 2021 off season. And then going into the off season, they brought in more quarterbacks. They brought in basically a new team. The head coach and offensive coordinator, their demeanor towards me changed a lot. Like, I'm like, you not realize like I'm the same kid that went through that is still here. Like, remember how I can play? They kind of just saw me as I think they might have just saw me as a kid who was sick and they couldn't understand that I still wanted to play football or something, or they wanted to move on from me because I wasn't fitting into their future plans anymore. Jesus. And then the real reason that I knew it was time to go is because the coach that I told you that recruited me, Adam DeMichael, he was the longest tenured coach on the Temple staff at the time. Yep. He's a young guy too. They basically moved him to an off the field position coach, so he's no longer with the program. And then my quarterback coach also is no longer with the program. So my quarterback coach and then Coach DeMichael was basically like, he did everything. He was like a quarterback coach / recruiting coordinator. He just was a jack of all trades. But my two guys that I had the best relationships with both left either after the spring or during the spring. And it took a toll on me, and I just knew it was time to move on because they didn't give me any reps in the spring, basically. So that's what happened with Temple.
Okay. So, man, crazy story at Temple. You decide to move on, obviously. How did you end up at Jackson State?
So after Temple, I was like, I had all intentions of going to play somewhere else, but I mean, if you heard my story, the odds are pretty much stacked against me. Right. to transfer again, basically for the 3rd time, try and find another school. They're probably looking at me as I'm a troubled kid. You know, I've transferred around. You don't really have a good rep when you're a transfer. When you are a walk-on, you went to junior college and I didn't have any stats to show from the past season. Like, it just was, the odds were stacked against me. So, but you know, I was getting really exhausted. I was really exhausted. I was like, what else can I do? I was forcing it. I was beside myself. I was in a really low point in my mental. I was really just in a bad spot. So I put my name in the portal. I was talking to a bunch of small schools, D2 schools, which is against how I ever was wired. I never wanted to play there. I always wanted to compete at the highest level that I possibly could. And I was going to settle for a small school, but it just didn't feel right at all. So August 15th, Jackson State hits me up on Instagram out of nowhere, like straight out of nowhere. I'm like, whoa, what is this? I didn't even think it was real at first. I thought it was somebody messing with me. And right. They told me basically like there's a spot. There's a spot for me on the team. There's 3 active quarterbacks on the roster right now. They need to bring in another guy. They want to bring in a graduate transfer who has experience, who's been around, and someone who can help the young quarterbacks on the team basically develop and mentor them and help them understand coverages, where to go with the football, like that little type of stuff. Yep. And I'm like, all right, look, I always wanted to be the starting quarterback. Like I wanted to be the guy. Like, I'm thinking I'm going to be the guy at Temple. That's my mentality. I thought I was going to assume the role. Am I going to do this again? Am I going to go and take basically a backup job, humble myself and do this? And I really had to think about it. And I came to the conclusion, I was like, look, this is so much bigger than football at this point. This is the Coach Prime Deion Sanders effect now.
Yeah.
When I was in the hospital, I'm literally watching this man's videos of motivation. I'm seeking him for motivation. He's one of the people that I would watch. He has like a daily word. I would literally look and read his stuff all the time. And it was just like, out of all of the places that I could go, now my only option is to go play for Deion Sanders. I'm going.
I say it's
Yeah.
not a bad
It's
option,
not a
right?
bad option at all.
It's like, that's my option. Like that's the one place I'm like, I'm going. Like there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Like my mental space wasn't good at the time, but I'm going. And I'm like, I have to do this. Is like divine intervention. This is like something I don't even know. This is a shot in the dark, but there's got to be something good that can come out of that, because it was bigger than football at the time. It was just, I believed in who he was and the staff and what they were building at Jackson State, the vision that they have for the program, the leadership, the developmental of after football, like life after football. That's kind of how I was thinking at this point. I didn't even know. I was just like, okay, let's do it. So I tell them I'm coming. Last fall, NCAA doesn't allow it to happen. The NCAA says no because it was too late into the camp. Even though I was a graduate, the NCAA didn't allow it to happen. They said too late. The admissions office didn't get my paperwork through fast enough. The school schedule already started. The classes started, so they didn't let it happen.
What the hell?
So I'm like, okay, all right. I'm tired. I don't know what to do. I still love football. I have all this knowledge. Let me just go coach in my high school. So what I do is I go coach high school football last fall at my original high school, the small school that I was telling you about, where we went 3-7 and we were running the pistol whispering offense.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's where I go coach.
So is that the offense you took to coach too? No, you had a little better version.
I didn't have that much say. I was kind of just the quarterback whisperer
Okay.
on that team, and I'll get to throw routes on there. So realistically, I went back there, and I was still like playing football. Like I was still working out. Like I was still throwing the ball like every single day to these kids, still letting the ball spin off my hand, all that type of stuff. And I really enjoyed it. I really genuinely enjoyed it. I came to the point in my mind where I was like, if I never play football again, I can still find purpose. I can still find value.
Yeah.
I can still help people. I can still help bring out the best in people. Like I love seeing people gain confidence over time. I love helping people bring out confidence in themselves. So that's something I really took to heart when I was at my high school coaching, and it just felt nice to give back to the school, because it was like the school that I left. I don't think they didn't like that I left, and I ended up going back and helping, and I did everything I could, and it was really awesome. We actually ended up winning our Thanksgiving rivalry game. It's like one of the oldest rivalry games in New Jersey, or in the country for Thanksgiving. It's like over 115 years in a row played.
Oh.
So it was a good time. Like I enjoyed it so much, and it was perfect for me at the time. It was really perfect for me.
Oh, hell yeah.
So I'll tell you. Okay. December comes around after Thanksgiving. I'm like, you know what? I'll just probably coach high school again, like next year. Like, I don't know if I'm gonna play football again. It's kind of out of my control right now.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, you know what? I might start boxing again. I'm gonna do my Muay Thai, kickboxing to stay in shape. This is keep competing. Start learning jiu-jitsu. I'm thinking I might start fighting, literally, because just to compete. And I'm frustrated. I'm also frustrated. That's literally my mindset at the time. And then December comes around, and I'm looking for a full-time job. I'm a graduate of college. I'm looking for a full-time job in January. So I do the interview process to be a 911 dispatcher. Work for like emergency response from Camden County.
Okay.
My friend's mom works there and had a connection. So I got in, I got accepted, I passed the test. They tell me, yeah, you can start in January. That's what I'm thinking. That's my mindset. I'm thinking all December, I'm going to start working in January. First week of January comes around, and they say I have to wait 7 to 8 months to start this job again.
What the heck?
What?
Shut up. Like you're kidding right now, right?
I'm like, what am I supposed to do now? It's like when I'm not doing that job, I'm doing a little job with a private contractor, doing like painting, and it's a really inconsistent schedule. I have to drive everywhere, like all different parts of the city. It's like a pain in the ass. Like So that was my other job. I'm like, do I really want to do this again for 7 to 9 months? Is this the life that I want to live? I will be miserable doing this. I need to find something else to do. I need to stay busy. I need to occupy my mind. I need to move on from this little job. I need to get a real job. And I'm thinking, well, I can't do this dispatch thing for 7 to 9 months. So now what? What do I do now? Well, I still want to play football. Of course I do. So I hit Jackson State back up, and I'm like, look, I don't know if you guys want me anymore or if you need me anymore, but if you do, just let me know. I'm thinking there's no way. I'm thinking like, no, absolutely not. They just needed a camp arm. And then they hit me back up, and they said, yeah, we'll still take you. If you can come down here, we start January 12th, I think it was the first day. This was like, I was talking to them on like January 8th, and I was like, okay, let's do it. All my stuff was already accepted from the previous semester, so I just had to make one phone call. Had my housing set up, had school set up. I'm like, Mom, Dad, I'm driving to Mississippi. They're like, what? So I basically pack my bags. I take a 3-day trip, drive down here, and the rest is history.
Hell yes. So, my man, your journey, and it's not even over yet. But most people be ready to wrap her up. Yeah, I think you have plenty more left in you. Jesus. But that being said, got to ask about Coach Prime a little bit, right?
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
So what I'm curious about, with no cameras around, none of that BS, is he exactly how he presents himself?
Yes, that's like the first thing I tell people whenever they ask me. I say, look, this is just who he is. The cameras are just there. Like, it doesn't change his aura, doesn't change his messages, doesn't change his personality. That's just what he is. And it's so authentic, it's so real, it's so genuine. And it's like everything that I've been through in my life, this whole journey, it's like being with him right now for me is irreplaceable. It's priceless. There's nothing more perfect for me in my life right now than to be here and be around somebody like that, like the leader that he is, and the way that he shows up every single day the same. It's like remarkable for me. It's crazy consistency. To me, he's like I honestly look at him as like a genius. I think like people look at him as an athlete. I think he's just a genius. Like how he can compartmentalize everything, how he has all these business stuff that he attends to, how he's a full-time Division I college football coach, literally the best coach I've ever had in my life.
I've kind of gathered that. I don't mean to cut you off. I have kind of gathered that from him. I want to say the last 5 or 6 years, like watching him on a little bit of segments on NFL Network, or before he was even at Jackson State, but now having his conversations. He seems like he's a way more broader thinker than you're thinking about his big time lines when he was a young pup himself, showing up to the combine.
Right.
And running his 40. They're like, you'd even stretch. Well, you know what? A cheetah doesn't stretch before it takes down its prey. So, big time lines like that. But you actually find out like he has more thought, a hell of a lot more thought process going on. And he probably has life a hell of a lot more figured out than most people that we know. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's a master marketer.
That being said, has he ever defended against you? Have you ever run out there like trying to show the corners, like what he wants out of him, and maybe you're throwing the ball?
No, not yet. He was dealing with his own surgery. He had to get 2 of his toes amputated.
Right, yeah.
So
I forgot about that.
Yet, but he's been grinding.
Okay. Have you told him like, hey, as soon as I get an opportunity, I want to crack. I want to crack at the legend. I want to crack at the GOAT at DB, right?
I think he knows. I think he knows what's coming. I'm just letting him recover. I'm giving him his own space. I have empathy towards him. Like I understand the recovery process, so I'm just letting him be right now. But once he's ready, I can line it up.
I like that right there. That's awesome. Yeah. That being said, he I just lost my train of thought on that. God damn it. Go on.
Well, so kind of get to know you personally and some things you like. You have a favorite NFL team?
All right. So, I mean,
Don't
I
say
always root for the Eagles. I root for the Eagles because I'm, like I said, I'm a hometown guy.
He's a Philly guy. He's a Philly guy. Okay.
I respect where I'm from. I can't root against.
Yeah,
the Eagles.
no, I respect that, and
It's okay.
But
These guys here also root for a bad team. So,
well, hold on, calm down. Have you told them who your favorite team is?
Oh,
There,
yeah.
Rio?
Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
All right, so look. All right, when my friends hear this, they're gonna crucify. They're gonna be so mad at me. But like, I could care less. I could care less. Like the way I look at it is, I want to be a future employee of the NFL. I support all franchises right now. I don't care if it's the Cowboys, if it's the Vikings, if it's the Eagles. Look, I have no beef with the Cowboys. It's like every team is the same to me. If you're gonna play them on Sunday, you're gonna beat them on Sunday. That's the goal. Like I don't understand the Cowboy hate all the time. I'm like, all right, I don't get into the drama. It's just another team. I respect Dak Prescott. I like Dak Prescott, so I can't say anything about it.
Okay.
I'm not a typical Philly fan. I'm not one of those crazy. Like I respect the game too much to be like, F Dallas this, F Dallas. Like I just don't. I can't do it.
I got
Yeah.
you.
I like to watch the games.
For sure. So, Philly's your team then. What about NBA, MLB? You got any favorite teams that way? You said you used to play baseball.
Big time Phillies fan. I love the Phillies. I like the Phillies more than I like the Eagles. Put it that way.
Okay.
Okay.
I love the Phillies. Those games, like the game day atmosphere at Phillies games are very fun. I love them.
Oh, hell yeah.
And I grew up, like, when I was a kid, like, that was the 2008 World Series that they won. And it was like, I remember going to the parade. It was like the greatest moment ever being a kid. That was like when I loved baseball the most too.
So, which we all enjoy baseball quite a bit. It kind of comes off a little dying sport now around. I mean, I hope that's not the case. My boys play it and they love the hell out of it too. So, hope that's definitely not the case. You spoke of culture at Temple, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me a little bit? Obviously, I touched on Coach Prime, and all that, and but how is the culture down in Jackson State? Not to try to put you too much on the spot or anything. Just how's the overall? What's the overall culture and feel like? Practice, game, or not games, yeah, but practice, meetings, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's extremely competitive. Like in every moment, it's competitive. A high emphasis on discipline. A high emphasis on being smart. They try and put us in positions when we're really tired. They try and tire us out. They try and kind of like test us, get in our heads, and make us react accordingly to the situation. And that's very like you can translate that to the football game.
Yes,
it's very important to train like that, I believe. It's a very tight knit team, very family oriented team. Like everyone's really close with each other for the most part. And a lot of new guys are coming in, and we're kind of trying to get them acclimated as well. But it's just a very unique experience. I don't think there's another school that can be like us right now, just because of. I think everyone else is playing catch up, to be honest, compared to Jackson State, because of the way that this team literally came about and the Coach Prime effect. And when you have a leader like Coach Prime, it just changes the culture a little bit. Like he expects us to be excellent, like perfect every single day, and if you're not, you're gonna get called out for it, whether you're a starter or you're last on the depth chart. So it's that type of intensity every single day, and it breeds greatness. Like competition is truly king here. Like it breeds greatness. He doesn't care who you are or where you're coming from, or if you transferred in from a Division III school, or if you transferred in from Florida State. If you can ball, you can ball, and that's what I love about it.
Hell yeah. That being said, did you hear or know any of the drama about Mr. Nick Saban and your man about the NIL money and all that?
Happened?
No.
What happened?
Oh yeah, right, okay.
So I'll give you a little insight. I'll give you a little scoop. All right.
Oh, hell yeah.
All right. Without spilling all the beans, but there is an Aflac commercial coming out. Coach Prime was just in Cali Monday and Tuesday, filming for an Aflac commercial with Nick Saban. That's all I know. So we'll see what the drama has in store for us next.
Okay. All right. Hell yeah. It was a corner, correct? The corner that came in, he isn't walking around looking like he just made $1 million, right? Because that's what the accusation
No,
was. No.
at all.
Okay.
So, yeah, no, not at all. So we're in Jackson State. All right, we're at HBCU, a growing platform. It's not. You know what? I think other schools are scared. I think schools are scared because we're changing the game. Like we just got the number one player in the country, and all of a sudden he came here not for material things, but for a belief in the HBCU, the movement of the HBCUs, and having Deion Sanders as his head coach. So I think they're scared, to be completely honest. But no, he walks around. He's a very humble kid. He's actually kind of on the quiet side, but he's a crazy competitor. So.
Okay.
You know, he does not walk around like he's made of money.
Okay. I didn't think so. Well, he sent a tweet out, the young man. He's like, I got $1 million, but my mom still lives in a 3-bedroom house with 5 kids. Yeah.
Exactly.
Like, come on, man.
It adds up, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right.
I think Travis was thinking a long-term investment, not a short-term investment. Like, he has a long-term plan for his life. He knows by coming to Jackson State, he's going to become the best person and player he can possibly be. He's not chasing the money right now. I'm sure if he went to a bigger school and a Power 5 school, he would have got it. But like I was saying earlier, like, this experience is literally priceless. Like, what he's gonna learn here, like, he made the best decision for himself.
So you came into this university and knowing that it's gonna be more third, fourth string, something like that, like trying to help train up the younger quarterbacks, right?
Yep.
That isn't actually what you're doing, though, is it?
No, it's not. So
that isn't your mentality, is my point, right? I mean, you're going to show them.
When I'm on the field, it's my show, basically. Okay. And that's kind of how you have to have it if you even want to survive at this school. That's the way you have to be. And the way I look at it, I train like I'm a sniper. I try and train like I'm a sniper. Like, what I mean by that is I might not get 80% of the snaps this year, but if I even get 5% of the snaps this year, I might come in at the biggest moment of the game in the Celebration Bowl, and
you're hitting
5 minutes left, and I'm making my plays. I'm hitting my shots, no matter what. It's a team game, and I understand that. I understand the role. I just work my ass off every single day because I know that when I do get my opportunity, I'm going to be ready for it. And at this school, the spotlight is on us. It's a big deal. We're going to be playing in big games, nationally televised games, a lot of money on the line. And that's what fires me up. That's why I want to come to a school like this. That's why my whole journey, like, I'm ready for this. This is where I want to be. I'd rather do it like that than play at a small Division III school in front of 500 people a game. Like, to me, I can go hang out with my friends and go play in the park and do the same thing. That's my mentality. I get fired up for the big games, for the big lights. So for me, I've been moving up. Like, they have a plan for me this year. I'm not going to specify what it is, but they have a plan for me, and I'm going to be ready for my opportunity for sure.
Hell yes.
Yeah, I love it.
I know I would like to, unless you got something else, I'd like to get to your segment.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I know this man's going to enjoy it. So we do a little segment here. My man has his Rio's Randoms, where he's going to ask 3 questions, kind of like a would you rather, lighthearted shit, you know, and give your feel. We're all going to answer. You down?
Yeah, of course. Let's do it.
All right.
You know what time it is. It is time for Rio's Randoms tonight.
Dun, dun, dun.
Brought to you by Bo's Power Washing out of Belmont, Iowa. Make sure you hit them up for all your cleaning, power washing, and mowing, and snow removal needs. Hit them up at 641-903-1720. First up tonight. Which one will I do first? Well, he already talked about it earlier, but you got to pick one form of protein, I guess, to eat for the rest of your life. Beef, chicken, or pork. Which one are you doing?
Chicken.
And don't you already do that? Something like that?
Yeah, I do that. That's really easy for me. I prefer chicken tacos if I had to really pick.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there a reason you moved away from red meat?
Honestly, yeah, there's a couple reasons. One, I just don't think it's that good for you. Red meat or pork, I don't eat either. I just don't think it's good for me.
Okay.
And then when I was in California, we drove past a slaughterhouse, and it ruined my life. It ruined me. So
Oh yeah,
Ruined
yep.
you.
No, I
That'll
get
do
that.
it for sure.
You mean-
I didn't know because your surgery and stuff like that. If it had something to do with that, but
Yeah.
okay,
it doesn't have everything to do with that, but it made me focus more on my nutrition, basically. So
Gotcha,
I feel more comfortable with the strict diet.
Okay. Where are you
Right
going?
on. Red meat for sure. All day.
beef.
Yeah.
Sure, red
Okay.
meat.
Yeah, dude, it'd be really hard to do. Like, I love.
Wait,
don't get me wrong. Hold on. Don't get me wrong.
Wait,
I love
can
me
say
some.
seafood?
What's that?
Like salmon?
Yeah.
Fix seafood? Yeah.
Oh yeah,
salmon. I mean,
yeah.
I'm
You can
big
go
on-
fish. Yeah.
Okay. Dude, that'd be
Yeah.
a little more difficult. I like some shrimp too and all that. Hell yeah.
Mhm.
Dude, it's kind of tough because I do love chicken. Like, you can do so much shit
Yeah.
with chicken. Like,
Exactly.
but giving up on red meat, like we're talking about, like when I feel like all hungover and shit, and I'm beat
You
up
think
from the.
red meat?
I think red meat the next day. Like, I want the biggest, greasiest burger to hit the bottom of where all that alcohol
that
was
sounds
sitting.
painful.
Oh no, that's exactly where it's at. I'm telling you.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, so good.
I can't lie. I mean, when I used to eat Philly cheesesteaks, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah. See.
It usually wasn't the next day. It was usually the same night. But yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Touche. Yeah.
You know what? I'm primed for strength, not for speed. So, or built for. Which one are you going, Rio? What'd you
No,
say?
yeah, definitely beef. I've got to keep this dad bod and
There
so
we go.
going on. So, yeah, definitely beef. Next up on Rio's randoms, would you rather your favorite NFL team lose every Super Bowl it went to, or never make one?
Never make
Really, we had to go that route.
It's messed up, really.
That's really
What's
messed
up, Vikings fans? Let me hear it.
I'd say never make one.
Okay, never make one.
Oh, so we have a taste of both, and the reason why I say that, we weren't alive when my favorite team, the Vikings, went to all four of theirs.
Right.
So what I mean by, like, I've never experienced them going to one, so it's
Yeah.
almost the same thing to me. Like, those
Yeah,
are history.
yeah, yeah.
Those are history movies. And it is.
The way I look at it, to be honest, is like in Philadelphia, if you make the Super Bowl and you lose, the city is going to burn down.
Okay.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
realistic. If you win the Super Bowl,
It's going to
the
burn down.
city's still going to burn down.
Right, still get burnt down, except for there's to be a lot of hooping and hollering in a positive
Yeah,
way.
it'll be like a more like a celebration.
Right. Celebration burn.
If you lose, that's over. That's no, it can't work.
So me personally, I'm gonna have to ride with. I want to see him make it, even if they don't win it. I want to see him make it. Seeing that experience, I'm used to heartbreak of not making it anyway.
true.
So I want the full heartbreak
Yeah.
of being there and still coming up short.
Appreciate
Yeah,
that.
totally.
answer.
Okay, like,
agree.
and you want to win that championship, like the conference championship. I
Yeah,
get that,
you know
though.
what? At least, at the end of the day, I say, well, we're NFC champions. What's up? That's the real
Yeah.
championship.
Yeah.
I just think of the Buffalo Bills 4 straight and they lose 4
God,
straight. Like,
man.
that's tragic.
That's the only thing we can hang our hat on
Yeah, and then
as
and then
Vikings
the
fans.
curse
I'm like,
of-
you guys went to 4 straight though. Fuck
Right.
you. You
That's
know?
why. That's why they got the Brady curse.
Right. Where are you going?
Oh, same thing for sure. I want to at least make it to the dance.
There you go.
If we lose, it would suck, but at least we got there again.
Yeah, I'm probably going that way too. See him
I'm
make
sorry,
it through
guys.
there.
If I wasn't from Philadelphia, it would be a different story. I can understand.
Well, that's because you also witnessed winning a goddamn one over.
Oh yeah, big
Big-
dick baby.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's true.
beating
That
up
was
on my
insane.
Vikings. What was that? 30-7.
Oh yeah, yep.
You guys asked for it. You guys went to our art museum and started doing your skull chant.
Right.
And last up on Rio's randoms, would you rather be an average quarterback that manages to get his team to the playoffs every year but could never win it, or be an MVP caliber quarterback, light up the stat line but never make the playoffs?
Oh my god!
What are you doing?
Wait, so if you're average, if you're like an average quarterback, you
Yeah,
win
you're
the
like
Super Bowl.
no,
Yeah,
you,
win Super Bowl?
you never make it to the Super Bowl. You can make the playoffs. You never make the Super Bowl though.
So I'm like on like it's like a Jared Goff thing.
Yeah, you're like
slash-
Like a
yeah,
Jimmy
you're
G.
like
Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
right. Yep.
Nah. If you're at the end of the day, if you don't win the Super Bowl, you don't win the Super Bowl. So I'll be an MVP caliber quarterback. Because the way I look at it is, I think Matt Stafford, like even Matt Stafford, like he at the end of the day, his career is going to be better than an average quarterback's career. Oh, he just won a Super Bowl too, so that doesn't really count.
Well, right, but we know what you meant. Like, just even let's say before he had won it with the Rams. I mean,
Yeah,
we
I
get
go MVP caliber.
MVP caliber.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So, like,
If you would have told me I
Phillip
would get to win
Rivers-
one Super Bowl, I would have picked the Super Bowl as being an average quarterback. Because there's no Super Bowl involved, then no.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
is
come
tough.
on. You should have given him that option because
Yeah.
Trent Dilfer was a below average quarterback and won the Super Bowl.
That is true.
I think I take that. I think I take a Super Bowl.
Wait, okay. So if you were, let's throw that in there. If you could be a mediocre quarterback, like a Drew Lock or something, and manage to win one Super Bowl, you do it.
Yeah.
Take that.
I think I would. I
Yeah.
think I would.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Eli Manning, bro. Okay.
Excuse me.
Not a great quarterback. Not a great quarterback.
What?
Yes, too.
He is
You
the
said
best.
the Giants would have 9.
Yeah,
wins
you're
over
damn
theirs.
straight. Number one, and I'm not a
Right.
giant, and I'm not a Giants guy. But what I'm trying to tell you here, Daniel, is that man might have been one of the better playoff quarterbacks of all time. The few times he did go, though.
That's fact.
Oh yeah. So was Joe Flacco. What's
That-
up?
yeah, he has Super Bowl victory too.
Right.
Hey, let's not forget Mark Sanchez led his team to the AFC Championship game.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm gonna go MVP caliber quarterback. And whatever. I can cry about not winning Super Bowls with my $1 million bills.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
'cause
you're
that
gonna
money.
get paid. You're
Oh,
having
yeah.
every commercial.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Getting a couple different honeys in every city. You know it. So.
Yeah. Whoa.
Massages.
What?
Massages.
Yeah,
maybe?
massages. You know, Deshaun Watson. What
Yeah.
Wait, do
He
you guys
hooked me up.
who do you guys think is better, Phillip Rivers or Eli Manning? Not counting. Just
Oh,
quarterback.
Philip Rivers is by far better,
Yeah.
but in my
So would
opinion,
you rather have his career or Eli's career?
See,
Phillips.
that's perfect. That's
Ooh.
Actually,
What? I'm
that is a
taking
good one.
Eli's career.
That's-
2
Would
Super
you?
Bowls over Tom Brady?
No, dude, that new,
You get to
dude,
be-
that actually, that's
That is
damn
so
it,
tough.
Matthew. I don't think I've ever had anyone fire back like that.
You
You
can be
SOB,
Tom
I like
Brady's-
it.
Can you be Tom Brady's daddy or
Right, especially he gets it. You see him chirp that every so often
Oh,
too.
yeah.
I
here's,
love it.
Here's the bottom line: we're not big fans of Eli, but he's probably going to make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
that,
Yeah.
probably.
Philip Rivers might not.
Philip Rivers going to
Okay,
Hall of
here's
Fame.
another one though.
He
If
might
Eli
not.
Manning's last name wasn't Manning, is he making the Hall of Fame?
Oh
Because of the Super Bowls, he probably would.
no,
You think so?
no,
Yeah.
I don't
No,
think so.
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I'd have to go no.
Oh boy, didn't it? Kenny Stabler wasn't. I don't even know if he is in the Hall of Fame yet.
Really?
And I'll have to double check here. If it was like way late here recently. Maybe
That's
I'll check that out.
crazy.
But think about that for a second. I am actually with you. I'm with you on that. If he doesn't have the last name, even with 2 Super Bowl victories, because he says his stats aren't fully there and his record definitely isn't there. His overall record, right? It's the name factor in that one. In my
And
opinion.
he beat Tom Brady. Like Tom Brady would have 9 Super Bowls if it wasn't for those Giants teams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knocked off the
That's
perfect
insane.
season.
Knocked, the perfect upset the perfect
Yep.
season.
All right. So I'm gonna go. We already answered that one. So I'm going. I'll stick with the MVP one on that one too.
Yeah.
Okay,
Stats.
damn, he's like firing him over here though. I like that.
Yeah. Hey,
Hey, Saber.
you have any more
Right.
random questions for us?
Yeah, no, we like him. We
Yeah.
like him.
You got it.
Hey, and that, folks, is what I have for Rio's Randoms tonight. Make
Okay.
sure you hit up our guy Kevin Beauchart for all your cleaning and power washing needs.
2016 is when he was finally inducted. Kenny Stabler.
Okay.
Damn.
So he is in. I will say that, but it could be if he does get in, and if he gets in even the first couple years of his eligibility, it's going to be because of his last name.
If he gets in, that's it. But now, to be clear, I don't think he deserves to be in at all.
I know you don't,
right? But
but I'm
the
saying
Super Bowl thing, they blow that shit up.
I
Too
think they.
much.
I think they
When
do
you look
too.
at the full package,
Yeah,
that's
especially the full, like when you have a full team. Like what I'm saying is when your team can carry you there, and then all of a sudden your
that
stuff kind of
defensive
gets blown
line,
up.
man. Yeah. Yep.
Wait, you guys, I think we can find some common ground here, though, because Kenny Stabler just made me think of something.
What's that?
Kenny Stabler, so Brett Favre. All right, I didn't get into this yet. Brett Favre is my all-time favorite quarterback.
Okay.
Okay.
So, Kenny Stabler was his all-time favorite quarterback. This is why I thought of it. And now I just realized I have a Vikings jersey in my closet. Brett Favre Vikings jersey.
Do
So I
you?
would wear that with pride. Yes, I do. Because Brett
Let's
Favre was
go.
I have all of his jerseys. Southern Miss, Packers, Jets, and Vikings.
Oh, nice.
All
and
right.
Falcons.
All right. So I need one thing from you. Okay, just one thing.
Yeah.
And that isn't Coach Prime's autograph, which I wouldn't turn down. I'm just saying. But you do me a favor. You throw on that Viking jersey for me, and you put that on Twitter and tag 3 Gig Sports.
Love it.
Okay, I
love
will,
it.
but one problem.
What's that?
He's not at home,
The
bro.
Vikings jersey is in New Jersey.
Oh, I thought you take it with you, like inspiration or something. Damn it!
I have his. So I have a Brett Favre jersey from the Packers, and I have a Brett Favre Falcons jersey because those are the only ones that fit me still. My Vikings jersey was like from 2009, so
Okay.
8
Yeah.
maybe. So yeah,
It
Might have been his best season in the NFL too. He was with the Vikings.
Yeah, it could have been
Yeah.
that throw
Right
at Greg
on.
Lewis in the back of the end zone.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
actually remember where I was on that. Like that may sound corny as shit, but I was on the road doing windmill construction, right?
Yep.
And when that game was going on, I think Leah came to visit me. That's my wife, and I was at a laundromat doing my my work clothes for the week, and I watched that Greg Lewis back of the end zone. I'm like, no fucking way.
Yeah,
And
that was
then
dope.
the Viking false hope came in. I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
it's stuff like this. We're gonna win this year. The
No.
whole thing.
No, Bountygate.
Yeah.
Bountygate happened.
Bountygate happened.
Yeah.
We're supposed to have Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Touchy subject.
Yeah,
I was really
very
upset that. I was really upset when they lost that game.
yeah. Well, they almost killed him.
Yeah,
Dude, stop
Yeah,
it
that was-
over there.
I was having a heart attack watching Brett Favre. My childhood favorite
You're
quarterback
gonna
get his
get
ass
mauled.
kicked.
Just smoked.
I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna have cried that day actually.
Yeah, so well, they're going fucking. They're going high, low on him. They were doing everything. It was nasty.
Trying to make that extra
Yeah.
cash, man.
Trying to make the extra cash. Hey, I got that bonus, baby. All
They
right.
probably did too.
Boom.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start to kind of slowly wrap it up with you, my man. And I do have one pretty big question for you. So you, like from the ground up, everything you told us, you had setbacks here and there from not getting recruited like you should have, having to sneak into that that camp there when you were in high school, everything, man. What you had to deal with in California from JUCO all the way to your surgery and your stint in the hospital to Temple. Just the whole story is nuts. Where do you feel like you get the perseverance that you've had to push through, and not only push through, but not, it'd be really tempting to look for that sympathy or that pity, but you don't do that at all, man. Where do you get that?
I think my family. Like my family. It's kind of how I was raised. I think my mom. I know had a tough tough life a little bit. She had a lot of loss and trauma. And I think she was kind of like my source of inspiration. And just the way that they my family raised me, and it's kind of like in my DNA. Like it's just kind of how I'm wired.
Okay.
And then I think seeing my family have money issues growing up, and my dad getting fired from his job and having to switch jobs and do that type of stuff, and how hard he worked all the time. I think that is my source of inspiration. What keeps me going. I'm very motivated to kind of get I don't want them to have to work. It sounds cheesy, but really I don't want them to have to do that. I think I want them to be proud of me. I want to just give my best at everything that I do and create that habit so it's normal. I normalize it. It's just something. It just becomes who I am at the end of the day. So I think that's really. And then the other thing is I'm pretty I look for a lot of gratitude in every situation. I try and find the best in every situation, even though it's really hard sometimes. But I learned that a negative circumstance doesn't mean I have to respond negatively to it. So just because I'm in something that's uncomfortable or negative, I can still learn something from it. I can still better myself or people around me at that time. So I think that's really the core, the basis of it.
Damn.
And what keeps me going and keeps me thankful. At the end of the day, I still have all my senses. I still can run. I can still jump. I can still speak. I can still laugh. I can still better myself every single day. And until I can't, that's the day I'll die. So I just keep trying to move forward and impact, inspire, and be grateful.
Damn.
Hey, we
You're-
respect the hell out of that.
Oh
man.
hell yeah. So as parents, I guarantee you, I haven't met your parents obviously, but as parents on this on this set right here, I guarantee your parents proud of you. What you've went through, holy shit, kid.
Yeah, the perseverance.
With all damn. Damn.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of my favorites right now already.
Yeah. Definitely. So you talked a little bit about, you wanted to work for the NFL. What do you see for yourself after Jackson State? Is you plan on continuing football, trying to play football? What's next for you? You got your degree, your grad transfer. What'd you get your degree in?
So I'll answer the football question first. Ideally, I want to play football as long as I possibly can because, it's basically kind of what I've known and it's what I enjoy, and it gives you a really cool platform, and I see a lot of cool places. I get to travel. I get to make so many friends. So, and I get to keep learning, most importantly. So I want to play as long as I can. If that's a shot at the NFL, which would be a long shot if I don't, get a lot of substantial film from this season. But even if it's not that, I'd still want to play in the Canadian Football League or the XFL.
Hell yeah.
Or something along those lines. And then, because I feel like I'm good enough to play in the NFL. I really do. I just feel like there's a lot of stuff. It's a business. There's a lot of stuff that has to happen. So I feel like if I was in one of those other leagues, I'd dominate, and it would be a really fun time for me. And then there's also one other thing I want to do football. I want to play one season overseas. I want to go to Europe and travel and go play in one of those overseas teams in like the European Football League. Somewhere maybe like Spain or something, just to go see it, just for like one football season, kind of finish out playing football maybe overseas. I just think it'd be cool to travel the world and do that. And then I graduated Temple with a degree in adult and organizational development. It's College of Education. It was a really broad major. People get into nonprofits or like administrative roles, type of stuff like that. But I think I'd want to work for the NFL, if like get into coaching potentially, or I'd want to do some kind of like player engagement stuff or diversity inclusion type of things, like working behind the scenes, or even I would even like to do like work on ESPN and do like kind of like what Dan Orlovsky does, or like break down film or do something like that. I just want to have multiple streams of revenue though. That's what I want to do. I want to have a lot of stuff that I can do. I'm not like one dimensional. I just want to have a lot of things that keep me occupied. To be honest.
Go.
Hell yeah, man. Nothing
Very
wrong
smart.
with that.
So we touched on a lot. We went through one hell of a story. What I would like, is first off, I would love for you to come back on our show. Like, I still think there's even more to be told. It isn't like, I think even short. If you call it a couple times, he's like that, and that's a different story, and that's another story. So
yeah, no, I'm for sure would love to come back on the show. This is a great time. I'm enjoying my day.
We're enjoying every second of this. If there's, we'll be in connection with you in the DMs here and all that, but we'd like to do it like maybe even mid-season, like how your season's going, like how the culture's going, all that stuff. Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I'd definitely do that. That'd be really fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man. Well, kind of last one we got for you. Playing football's at the next level and in college is definitely a privilege. And could you just touch on anybody who's helped you along the way and get here to this time in your life? Anybody you'd like to thank?
My family, definitely. I mean, they were there for me in like my darkest moments, and I opened up to them and I could talk to them about anything. I have a lot of cousins that have helped me too, just, keep me busy, keep me organized, keep me active. I have a lot of really good friends that I can count on back at home. They all know who they are. They're my guys for life. I've known them for so long. They all keep me like grounded and stuff. Like, so it's like that's outside of football stuff. Those are all like, that's just life in general.
Yeah.
And then I've had a lot of really good mentors from high school. I had Paul Palmer. He's actually a Temple football legend, like college football Hall of Famer. He was runner-up for the Heisman Trophy. He's someone that I've always looked up to. He's kind of like my first football role model. When I was in middle school, really elementary school, he used to take me out to high school practices and kind of like take me under his wing and teach me like the game and what the plays meant, all that type of stuff. And he's just been someone I can always count on. That was at Haddon Heights High School. My cousin Timmy, he's the trainer at Haddon Heights High School. We're all boys. And then I'll say Coach Doherty, he was my coach at my other high school. Coach Dar, Coach Garcia at my junior colleges. Coach Harmon, Coach DeMichael at Temple. And I don't want to forget anyone, but those are the ones that come to my mind first and foremost. And then here is just a totally, like Jackson State, it's just a totally different ball game. It's like I feel it feels so fresh to me, so natural, so cool. It just I feel so grounded here, so comfortable here. So all these coaches, obviously Coach Prime, Coach Bartoloni, my quarterback coach. We have a pretty tight quarterback room. It's just an incredible experience. I wouldn't trade anything for it. I got a lot of friends here too that I met. So it's just I feel real thankful for it all. I wouldn't change it for anything.
Hell yeah.
Love it.
You
man.
guys too.
We appreciate you, my man. Seriously. We appreciate your time. We appreciate the journey, the story, the whole works, and you taking time out of your day to even share that with us. And also, to a certain extent, make me also feel like a piece of shit because I sit there and whine about little stuff. No, I'm just joking. Like I like the scrapper mentality, the starting from the bottom, and everything that type of work ethic, that dog, like we talk about quite often. Everyone at this table has had to work their way up that same type of way. Like we're not from family and money and shit like that. That's what I'm trying to get at. So we appreciate everything that you've done. We appreciate your time, and we do hope for great success this year and for the future. But we are going to get you back on mid-season.
Yeah, definitely.
That's beauty.
Boom.
Man, we appreciate the time. Podcast will be up on all podcast platforms later this evening, and then YouTube here in a day or so. You have a good evening. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks again, man.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. I look forward to talking to you again.
All right. Thanks, Matthew. Have a good night, buddy.
Peace.
Woo! This
Damn.
kid
Yeah.
had some stories, boys. I'm excited to get him back on.
Bro, I'm a fan. I'm gonna hit him. I still need to. So I've been trying to look for Grandview University or whatever jersey to send to my guy. They said he would sign it and we hang it up, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna hit up old Cat here, see if I can get a Jackson State one, see if he can do it too. That'd be cool.
That would be
Hell
pretty
yeah.
Right, that dude was legit as shit. But
Buy a jersey, send it to him, get a signature, and we'll hang it up in studio.
hell yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah. We're gonna skip news and notes tonight, gentlemen. That was a long interview, but a damn good
A
interview.
really
So,
good one. It needs to be by itself for sure. People need to hear it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Coach Prime better be listening too.
Yeah, hit us up,
Yeah.
Coach Prime, and we'll get you on here. We talk about your toes, and
We'll try to find time for you somewhere. I'm
Yeah.
joking. We will find time. We'll clear schedule.
Yeah, we'll take care of that.
Personal days at work. I
But
think.
there was one thing you wanted to touch on tonight.
So I have to. Like,
Is it me?
huh? Yeah.
Besides Rio.
Besides Rio. I know you guys have been seeing this Zach Wilson drama, right?
Bam.
So if-
salute.
right here, baby. So if you don't know, if you live under a rock, him and his girlfriend broke up.
Yeah, how do you say MILF Hunter without?
Just don't put a .com on the end here and find a site that.
Yeah.
Colleen's over there. What?
Typing
Can you spell
it
that?
in right now.
Right.
Like,
that for
what
me?
is that? What is
Dot
that?
com.
What do you
Jesus.
mean? That's like Adrian told me he doesn't know what a casting couch is.
Here,
That's a different
I'll send
conversation.
I'll send him a picture.
Oh, she did. Came
Yeah.
in today and she's like, that casting couch is not very comfortable.
It's not for comfort. It's not for comfort.
It's not for comfort. Not
Sorry,
built
we,
for comfort.
yeah, and we didn't get the plastic over it yet.
Right.
Not yet.
So, quick backstory to it is him and his girlfriend broke up. Somebody on Twitter kind of because after she started dating now ex-best friend or best friend of Zach, who is also his leading receiver at BYU.
Said she was a homie hopper.
Someone said she was a homie hopper, and then she went to Twitter, Instagram, whatever
Yeah,
one, and
replied,
she's
it
like,
was just like,
"What? Here's what a real homie hopper is, and it is Zach Wilson evidently doinked his mom's best friend.
What's doinked?
Shadoinked,
What's that?
banged.
I know what that is.
Okay,
had sex with.
sexual relations.
Sexual.
So,
Ew.
of course, the mom's been talking. I don't think the the lady has been talking, but the moms were talking this whole time. Evidently, I don't know if you saw. I think it was today or maybe late yesterday. Zach Wilson had taken a bunch of his teammates to Idaho.
Yeah, and there's no reception. He's like, no reception. Just got back from wherever. He's like, what's been popping?
That doesn't sound like there's a denial on that either, though.
Yeah, he didn't.
So that happened. So that happened, right?
Oh yeah.
And where's that rate for just like?
Right, isn't that a Mormon school? You're supposed to go like not have sex and go on your vision quest.
Yeah, but a tip of the hat. That's more.
Oh,
but there's other
100%.
shit, right? Like when he went to prom, he took two college
college
girls
cheerleaders
to his prom. Like he's always been a pimp, right?
Yeah.
Like,
The swag runs deep in that man.
Right.
yeah.
Yes.
But yeah.
So here's hoping he can be a good quarterback one day.
One day.
Absolutely. Speaking of all that, we'll bring that right back to my weird law, and that's in the state of New York, actually, too. Still,
Could do New York all year.
Probably.
Man.
In New York, you can teach your pet parrot to speak, but not to squawk.
I think I know a gal that can maybe distinguish between the two.
You have my attention.
We're listening. That's weird.
Yeah. I'm not trying to get fined. Use your words.
Right.
Yeah, because like
Human words.
it'd be weird if you were trying to teach it to squawk anyway, right? Shouldn't that just be the natural thing?
That's probably the natural.
Right.
So I don't know.
You got it. Like out of county, you've got to teach it, how to say words. And then once he's taught, bring it in.
Bring it in.
Right.
Yeah. That's funny. I saw that like a TikTok or some shit the other day of this guy. He has the parrot like sitting up on a little perch or whatever, and he threw his cage on the floor and he starts stomping it, and the parrot just starts cussing him out. Just absolutely cussing him out. Son of a bitch, what'd you do that for? Like, it didn't seem like it was like pre like set up or whatever, because the parrot was saying random shit like, I'm gonna beat your ass and all this other stuff because he wrecked his house. It was the funniest thing I've seen all week, man.
Yeah. So we're gonna roll into it. Makes sense. Do you have one?
Let's see. Do I have one off the top of my head? I think I do actually. Yeah. Okay. So, when I was growing up, it kind of made me trying to think of good stories that I could actually bring up about my dad growing up, because there's some interesting things. Like same thing with your dad, right?
Yeah.
Well, we want to hear those too.
But so my dad was pretty disabled most of his life, right? And he was at the time probably like 37. And my brother and I we'd ride our bikes everywhere, walk everywhere. We didn't have a car or anything like that growing up. And my dad eventually was able to, because he was on disability, he was able to get like this little scooter, right? And this little hover around thing, he would drive this bitch all over town. He would take it. There was a school field across the street from us. He would take it straight through the school field, so he didn't have to go around the block or anything to get to wherever the hell he wanted to go and all of that stuff. Well, there was one day when my brother and I went to the pool, and he'd always give us these ridiculous times. Like, okay, you have 2 hours, and you got to be back home. We rode our bikes. It took like a half hour to get to the pool, right?
Right.
So we basically had no time to do that. So we're like, whatever. Well, we were late this day coming home, and we fucking riding our bikes up. And God, he's going to be pissed. It's going to suck, whatever. And we come up, and he's passed out on his scooter, like in front of the house, just fucking. And he is almost black. Like he is super dark red, like had been sleeping in the sun for the entire fucking day, dude.
Hell?
So red. And so we go up and we're like, Dad, like, hey, you all right? You're like, oh, yeah. I just must have dozed off there for a minute. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what do you mean a minute, Dad? Look at your skin. He's like, oh, no, I'm fine. Like, must have just dozed off for a minute. So this man fell asleep for like 4 hours in the sun on his scooter, just all sleeping, jacked up and everything. So dark, though, and so red, so burnt. So we had to go inside, and actually, I think I had to run somewhere and get him some shit for the sunburn and everything like that. It was insane. He's like, yeah, just must have dozed off there for a minute.
Just dozed off for a minute.
Okay.
Quick little nappy.
Yeah. The only good thing about that is we didn't get grounded because he totally forgot it, like what time it was. He didn't know what the hell was going on.
Right.
We're like, oh, we better get the sunburn taken care of, and totally got us off the hook there.
Right,
But,
especially when he said for minutes. Yeah, it's only been minutes, Dad.
Yeah.
You're right, Pops.
yeah, we decided not to go, so we're home.
You got it.
But yeah, it definitely makes sense if you don't think about it.
There we go. Any words of wisdom with that?
God, yeah, I just wouldn't fall asleep in the sun because
If you plan on it, get some sunblock.
Yeah, maybe get some sunblock.
Okay.
Or if you're gonna do it, go somewhere more comfortable. That way you don't look all fucked up on the sleeping. Because it doesn't really have a back or a neck rest, so it was weird as hell.
I'm surprised somebody didn't like call the cops in the sense that is this man okay?
Yeah, like what's
You know what I
going on?
mean? Like
Yeah.
hunched over.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one off air, and then maybe down the future I'll tell you that relates to something like that. And the cops got called too, so it was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boom. Easy enough. Well, we're going to go ahead and start to wrap her up. If you happen to find a podcast somewhere out there in the interwebs, be sure to like, subscribe, share. Definitely share this podcast about Matty Ice. I think there's a lot of stories that he told in there that really could resonate and help some people maybe that are coming up, whether it's playing sports, whatever, just getting through life. I think he had a really good story.
Yeah, absolutely.
The podcast is available where, Jimmer?
Anywhere and everywhere you can think of. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeart, and YouTube.
YouTube. And if you're liking all the videos that we're starting to put out with the edits and stuff like that, big shout out to Colleen. She's been a huge help with the digital editing and things like that. But we do love to tell a good story, hence the reason this interview went so long. Our guy had a lot of stories. If you got one you want us to share, go ahead and slide on in.
To our DMs, get us that story. We'll get it out to all the folks that want to hear it. We do as well. If you're looking for a workout app, download Fitbod. Generates workouts for you, shows you how to do new lifts, and keeps track of your workouts. You can use code 3GIG for 25% off.
How much?
25.
2.5. So, hey, college athletes, we can't do much for nil money, but what we can do for you is get you 25% off on that Fitbod. It's going to give you all the workouts that you need, and then hit us up, and we'll get you on the podcast too. How about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Win-win for everybody.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Well, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This is 3 Gig Sports.
We out.
Discussions, I've been writing all of this.